Hey there tech fans, Rick here again with another review, and today I have a beautiful digital wall clock that also provides an alarm function and it can be used as a countdown timer. And you can control all of those functions using the buttons on the back of the unit or through the infrared remote control that's included with the kit. Now before I get too deep into the review of this product, I always like to start with an unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit. And that way you know what you get if you buy the product. Then I'll explain some of the really cool features they built into this because you might be thinking, it's a digital wall clock, how clever can it be? There's a lot of clever features built into this and I'll get into those. I'll also take a closer look at the clock itself and explain how you connect the power supply, where the buttons are, what they do, so you understand how to use it once you get it home. And I'll also point out some of the really cool things that this company has built into this clock that you may not find in other digital wall clocks. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first pop open the box, you'll find the wall clock. Now it's available in several colors. The digits on this one are blue. They offer it in red, green. I believe they have a white one as well. So there's a lot of different colors for the digits up front. A lot of people like the red. I like the blue. It sort of fits in with the motif here in the shop. So I like the blue an awful lot, but that's up to you. You can choose whatever digit color you like. You'll also find an infrared remote control. This is really handy because you can now control the clock from way across the room. So all of the functions and features that you want to adjust on the clock, you can do through this remote control. Also included is a 12-volt power supply. It's a 1 amp power supply with a 6-foot cable. Now that's a big difference from a lot of the other kits out there that give you a really short, like 1-meter cable, and then you're really restricted as to where you can place it because remember, you got to plug it in. So having a really long cable like that gives you a lot more flexibility of where you're going to position it. You can also stand it up like I've got it stood up here on the desk, but there are mounting holes in the back, and I'll show you those in a minute, where you can actually mount it to a wall. They also include a mounting kit. This is the kit that shows you exactly where those holes have to be drilled. I think that's a really nice touch because a lot of times companies sell a product that have mounting holes in the back and you've got to measure them and you're never quite sure where to drill them. With this, you can put it up against the wall. You can drill right through this because it's heavy cardboard and the holes will be exactly where you need it. Put 2 screws in, hang the clock, and you're good to go. And finally, a full instruction manual is also included that explains all the advanced features this product provides. And there's a lot of things you can do with it. I like the countdown feature because if I'm working out, I'm on a bike or whatever in the workout room, I can count down from 60 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever I want to do for that particular exercise. I can watch that clock and it gives me a lot of hope that I'm almost there. It's almost counted down to 0. So let me get into the closer look next. But some of the features that really separate this from other clocks on the market include things like auto dimming. So there are 4 settings for the digits on this, and that's really nice because a lot of the other clocks on the market, you turn them on and they just are on. They're either too bright, they're not bright enough, and you have no control over how bright those displays are. It also can auto dim on its own. So if you've got it in a room and it's really bright out, they might be brighter. At night when you're trying to get some sleep, they'll dim down. You can set it in auto if you want to do that, or you can control it directly from the remote or the buttons on the back. Another really nice feature is it's battery backed up. So it runs off this power supply normally, but if you lose power, all the settings you've got inside the unit are retained because it's got batteries inside of it. They're alkaline batteries in the back, and it actually comes with 2 batteries installed. And again, a lot of other products, you get the clock, you're like, oh, I got to put batteries in this, and then you got to run around trying to find the batteries. It's great that they include those. One last feature I'll mention is the fact that you can easily switch between the clock function and the timer function just by tapping one button on the remote. A lot of other clocks that I've looked at are fairly complicated to move between those 2 different modes. With this one, push of a button and you go from timer, countdown timer, or alarm back to clock, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So next I'm going to take a closer look at the clock and explain all of the buttons and things and where you plug the power supply in, and then I'll come back and show you how it works because I love it. I mean, it's larger than a clock you would normally set up on your desk, but it's perfect for mounting it on a wall or sitting on a table a couple of feet away from you. It gives you a beautifully big display, very easy to see exactly what's going on, what time it is, what temperature it is, or what kind of countdown time you've got left on the timer. I just love it. I think it's a wonderful product. So stay tuned and I'll take a closer look next. The display provides 4-inch digits for the time and 2-inch digits for the day of the week, the date, and the temperature. They're very large and easily seen from well across the room. Now in the rear of the units, where all the connections are made and all the adjustments are made as well, you'll notice right away there are 2 hooks right here that you can hang it. The guide that's included shows you where to drill those holes. Essentially, a screw goes in the wall. You pop this over the screw and slide it down, and that's all you need to do to hang it. It also comes with a stand. You can stand this up on a table if you'd like and use it as a freestanding unit. Down here, you'll notice the brightness adjustment. Right now it's set up on auto, but I can make it brighter, I can make it lower, depending on what I want to do. That's my control. You'll also notice controls over here that really allow you to adjust anything you need to on the clock. And I've got the same level of function from the remote control. I've got a snooze button for the alarm. I've got a set for the timer. I can change it from 12 to 24 hours. I can change from centigrade to Fahrenheit. I can set the alarm, or I can put it in timer mode right here. Again, all of those functions are available on the remote control. It's an infrared remote control that you can use from across the room. It'll pick up all of those signals. Now, to add the power supply to it, there's a little door right here that opens up. You'll basically open this up, and you see the power supply plugs in right there. What's nice about this is if you have extra cord, they give you a little bit of a cubby here where you can put all the extra cord in, so you don't have to have that cord hanging down the wall. I also love the fact that they put a little channel in here where you can run the wire out, so you're not closing that in the door and kinking the wire. Here are the two alkaline batteries I mentioned before for the battery backup. So essentially, you'll mount this on the wall. First, you'll plug in the power supply, obviously, hide all the extra cable in there, plug it in, hang it on the wall, and you're good to go. Close this door up. That'll just keep everything nice and neat on the inside. And that's pretty much it for the clock. Now I'll show you just how easy it'll be to use this digital clock once you get it home. And right now I've got it in clock mode, which is the way I use it probably 95% of the time. And we can see clearly that it's 4:15 p.m. Now that's a 12-hour clock cycle. You can easily change that to a 24-hour clock cycle if you like military time, but I'm a simple guy and I just like to know that it's 4:15 in the afternoon. You'll also notice the day of the week is displayed. It's Friday. The clock knows the day of the week. And you might be thinking, why do I need a clock to tell me what day of the week it is? Well, think about that. How many times have you asked somebody, hey, is today Thursday or Friday? Well, now you'll know. It's right there on the clock. And below that, you'll see a temperature displayed and the date. So it's giving you the date, the day of the week, time, and the temperature. And that temperature is really nice because if you're sitting in a room and you're thinking, boy, is it getting hot in here, you can look up and go 23 degrees Celsius, I better open up a window. I also like the fact that it gives you the date. So everything I need to know about my situation in that room is displayed on the clock. Now, as I mentioned, there are two timer functions. You can count up or you can count down. And to access the timer functions, you'll tap that button in the center and it goes into timer mode. Now, the normal mode is to count up. So right now it's zeroed out. If I want to start that timer, I'll tap that upper right button and you'll see it start counting up. It starts with the seconds, obviously moves to minutes and then hours. And that's great if you're timing some activity. Maybe you're watching an athletic event, you've got to time a particular section of it, or you're cooking something in the kitchen and you need to know how long to cook it. That's a great way to do it. To stop the timer, you hit it again, so it stops at the second time. Now, if you want to count down, you have to set a time to start with. So to move out of this mode, you'll reset the timer by hitting that button. It's back to 0. You'll hit the set button up here, and then you can use the hours, minutes, and seconds buttons to increase the hours, minutes, and seconds. Now, right now, the timer's set at 1 hour, 1 minute, and 1 second. There isn't a workout routine that I'm doing that's going to go that long, so normally mine are 3 or 4 minutes at most. But anyway, I picked those 3 digits, and to start it, you'll tap this button up here, and you'll see it start to count down. And it'll eventually move to there, and it'll eventually move to there. And that's nice because if you're on your exercise bike, maybe you set up for 3 or 4 minutes, it gives you a lot of optimism to see this big display across the room counting down. And I know with me, if I get down to 30 seconds, boy, I get a little extra energy to finish out that routine. So to stop it, you'll hit this button again. And if you want to zero it out to set another time, you'll hit that button down there. And again, all of these functions you can access from the back of the unit. Now, and to get back to clock, by the way, you'll hit that center button in there. It'll also move back after a period of time. So I like the clock function, and again, when I said before that I'll give you a few things to use to compare it to other products, first of all, I love the display. These are 4-inch displays. They're super bright. You also have control over the brightness right here. It has automatic settings. That's what I've got it set on right now. So if the lights go down, it gets brighter. If the lights go up, it gets dimmer. But you can control it from here. So there we go down all the way to the lowest setting and then back up to the highest setting. So if you have a preference, set it the way you like it. If you don't care and you want it to automatically adjust, put it in auto mode. It'll do that adjustment for you. So some of the things I like about this one, number one, the temperature sensor. I know that seems like a small thing, but a lot of other companies don't offer that. And when you think about that, this company had to build the temperature sensor in, all the electronics required to read that sensor and display that sensor, and they kept the price down. So I like the fact that it's in there. It's like a bonus. Also, it's battery backed up. So there are 2 alkaline batteries in there that if you lose power, any of the timer settings you've put into the unit will actually be retained when the power comes back up because those batteries remember the stuff that's going on when they lose power. What's really cool is they're alkaline batteries and they've included them with the kit. Those batteries are not cheap. They're a couple of bucks. Other companies may have battery backup systems, but they may not include the batteries, and then you've got additional expense beyond the cost of the actual clock. They also have 2 batteries for the remote. I think it's great they gave us batteries for that too. So pretty much everything you need to use this right out of the box is included with the kit. The last thing I'll say is I love the display. I just love the bigger displays. For me, the blue digits are perfect. You may prefer red or green or some other color, but it's just super clear and crisp from across the room. Some of these, the digits are not equal. They're sort of bright here and dim over there. With this one, across the entire display, I've got the exact same brightness, controlled by that down or up button there to make it dimmer, and it dims at exactly the same level. So it's a quality product, and the price is incredibly reasonable. So I like it an awful lot. I've been using it for quite a while, and boy, I can recommend it. So I hope you found this review helpful. I appreciate you watching, and until next time, stay nerdy.